As a beginner, you may have observed that while sculpting on a thin mesh like this plane over here, your mesh will get effect on the back faces too. You can avoid this very easily by enabling back face mask. You just have to go to brush, auto masking and turn on back face mask. Now if you give it a go, your mesh will have no effect on the back face. You can try it with different brushes, like I am using damn standard right now. It will work with it too, very fine. You have to enable it for every brush. Now after enabling it, you can see it will have no effect on the back faces. In move brush, it can be very helpful, like if you turn on this and you just have to pull from one side of the mesh and you don't want any effect on the other side, so you just enable back face mask on a move brush and just pull it out from one side and it will have no effect on the other. You may have noticed while sculpting your strokes are jagged and not smooth. There's an option called roll dist which will give you smoother strokes, and that can be very helpful as a beginner. You can find that under stroke settings. Here it is. The default value is 1. You can turn it up to 10, and now if you give a stroke, you can see it's smoother than before. While sculpting, it is very useful to hide some parts of your mesh to have a good look at your model. In ZBrush you can do it very easily. If you hold Ctrl Shift and drag, you can see a green selection. Now green selection means the part which are under the selection will be visible and the rest of the model will get hidden. If I release the selection now, you can see only this much part is visible to me now. I'll work on it and see it from inside too. Now when I am happy with my result, I can hold Ctrl Shift and click away from my model and I can have my whole model back. It will work opposite as well, like if you hold Ctrl Shift and Alt and drag, you can see a red selection. Now red selection means the selected parts will get hidden and rest of the model will be visible to you. Like if I release the selection now, you can see only this much part of my mesh will get hidden, and now I can tweak and do whatever I want from inside. And when I am happy with my result, again I can hold Ctrl Shift and click away from my model to have my whole model back. Now you can also change the selection type. If you hold Ctrl Shift and go here, you can see you have two selection types, select lasso and select rectangle. Right now we were using select rectangle. If you choose select lasso and do the same thing, Ctrl Shift and drag, you can see I have a lasso selection now, which I can turn red or green by pressing Alt. If you want to delete something very quickly from your mesh while sculpting, you can do this by using selection tools. Like if I go to Control Shift and make sure I have select lasso selected, and if I make a selection right here while pressing Alt to hide it, and I can go to geometry and there's a button called delete hidden. I can click this and now the hidden part of my mesh got deleted. Now I have to fill these holes, so I can do it by Dynamesh. So I go here, I'll click on Dynamesh and you can see your holes got filled. While working on something in ZBrush, you got too close, too zoomed in your project. Now you have to go to edge of the screen to move your window or do anything like scaling or thing. You can avoid this by turning on right click navigation, through which you can move your window while having your cursor in the center of the screen by using your right click instead of left. Like right now I am using my right click to move and navigate. You can turn this feature on by going to preferences, interface, navigation, and here it is. By default it will be turned off. You have to just turn it on, and then you have to store your config. So next time you launch ZBrush, it will be turned on by default. Now you can move while using your right click too. Like you will press Alt and you will press your right click, which you can assign on the button or in your pen, like I have done, and you can very easily move using your right click while on the center of the mesh. It is a very good practice to store your MOF target while doing an important project in ZBrush. It will help you erase your mistakes. Like suppose you are sculpting something and accidentally you have to erase this stroke, but you can't disturb the mesh besides it. Like you can't disturb the sphere, but you have to erase these strokes. So you have to smooth it manually, and it will never be the same again. So instead, what you can do, before starting your project, you can go to morph target and you can store your morph target. Now if you are working and you have to remove any of these strokes without disturbing the sphere, you just have to go to press B, M, and here will be a morph brush. You can find it here. It is the morph brush, B, M and O. Now if you use this brush, you can see you can very easily remove these strokes from your mesh without disturbing the sphere. You can make it just like it was before. It will be very helpful, and it's a very good thing to use in your daily projects. While sculpting in ZBrush, your brush strokes are not working, and when you are dragging the pen, you are just getting the model repeated again and again. It will be very common to have as a beginner. So there's a simple solution for this. You just have to press Ctrl N on your keyboard and it will all get removed. Now you just have to drag it once and press T to go back to edit mode, and now you can again sculpt on your model just like you were doing before.